Getting ready for road home, day 2, here at the Air Force Lodge in Watson Lake, Canada. Interesting little place. Apparently, it was originally a Air Force barracks that was put up here in 1942 by the U.S. Air Force during construction of the Alaskan Highway. So that was kind of cool. Interesting little building. Yesterday's ride was beautiful weather. Beautiful ride, lovely day. It was nice to end a little bit early. Culturally rather interesting. One of the rest stops, there was political musings in the restroom, and all I can think of is, you're in the middle of all this breathtaking scenery and natural beauty, and this is what you're thinking about. Okay, whatever. And then here in Watson Lake, there's a signpost forest where apparently there was an injured man during the construction of the Alaskan Highway. And well, while you're recuperating, we need a road sign here. And so we put up a road sign, and he included, distance to his hometown. And there are now thousands and thousands of signs in this little park. It's just posts and signs, and people put stuff up, and it's like, okay. It's kind of a fascinating anthropological thing, really. It's 80 years later, and it's grown to be this huge thing of people going, this is where I'm from. It was quite fascinating. And then I spent dinner trying to not engage in conversation with a Canadian Trumper that wanted to talk to me about all things Trump. It's like, oh my God, shut up. I'm not here for politics, dude. But anyway, onward home we go. It is rush hour here on the Alaskan Highway. Got a crew here. It's actually the second group that I've come across this morning. And yeah, apparently the grass is greener on the other side of the road, because that's where they are all heading right now. Anyway, time for a break, I guess. On the road home, day 3? Yes, day 3. Yesterday started out so beautiful. Beautiful weather, just absolutely beautiful weather. Perfect day for riding. Oh God, herds of bison just, chilling out in the middle of the road. Mountain goats, bears, elk. Just critters everywhere. Another just amazingly long valley. In fact, it gave me a bit of a fuel panic. I went through a gas station. I'll be fine. And I see this long, super deep, super narrow valley, and I'm going, there's no way there's going to be a gas station anywhere in here. So, I stewed on it for about 40 kilometers and then finally turned around and went back and got gas. So it took about an hour total, and then found a gas station like another 40 kilometers past where I turned around. So that was fun. Um, yeah, the only bad thing was, made a gas stop, the last gas stop of the day, and ran into three guys that were coming up, and they were like, "Oh man, it sucked. It rained all day. It was yeah," and I ran into that, and so put up my tent in the rain, and that was no fun. It rained pretty much all night, and so finally 4 o'clock, I'm like, screw it, I'm getting out of here. And as I am packing, you can kind of see behind me now, it's just glorious, glorious sunshine and blue sky. So hopefully we can keep that going today and get another step closer to home. Road home, day 4. Excuse me. Getting ready to hit the road here. Just had breakfast. This was actually the first hotel that advertised breakfast that had breakfast. So that was kind of a nice touch. So yesterday was just, yeah, there was like a brief moment of sunshine while I got loaded. It had rained all night. Yeah, and then it was like get on the road, and I did, and it pretty much got rained on all day, off and on. In fact, there was one point when it was kind of interesting. Once you get to the end of the Alaskan highway, it's like farmland and laser straight roads, so kind of yawn-inducing. But it's like, okay, well, there's a big old massive thunderstorm over there, and of course the road takes like a 90-degree turn right into it. It's like, son of a. Are you kidding me? So the hotel room was very much appreciated last night. Yeah, so I got a shower and a warm bed. It was really fantastic. And so anyway, so we are leaving Canada today. We're actually going to get back into the U.S. later today and be getting ready to go home here. And kind of getting ready to be home. So anyway, let's get all my gear on and hit the road. Tripping home, day 4. So yesterday's ride was, other than maybe the day leaving Tucson, some of the just best weather I've had the whole trip. Blue skies, sunshine the whole day. Did hit some wicked crosswinds there as I got towards the Canadian border. A lot of open plains that was, frankly kind of dull, but then it started getting interesting closer to the border. Calgary just it's reminded me so much of Denver, just because you have this high plains, huge city in the middle of nowhere, and snow-capped Rocky Mountains behind it. I spent a lot of time looking at those mountains, going, "Holy crap! I was in those mountains last week." It's kind of weird to think that I came up that mountain range inside it, and to see it from afar to realize how impressive that was. Um, but got through the border real easy, right across the border. Nice, lovely campground right here. I'm actually in Montana now, and great place, nice little place to spend the night. They had a little restaurant, had some dinner, so it was a pretty good deal. I did for the first time have a moment, actually the only moment where I actually cared what day it was yesterday. Came across this little tiny town, Canadian Bomber Command Museum, and it was closed, and it was going to be open today. I was so disappointed because I mean, it had some cool gate guards, but I could peer in the windows and it looks like they had a Lancaster. Looks like they had an example of one of the dam busting bombs that those things dropped. A bunch of stuff you just don't see in American museums. I was just like, I spent probably 15 minutes just staring in the windows going, man, this sucks. But anyway, time to get going. It is 5:30 on the next to the last day of the drive home. I lost count of the days again. Sorry. Um, yeah, yesterday was equal parts awesome, equal parts slog. Montana was not what I expected. You hear big sky and open plains, and there was some of that, and it was pretty. But there was also valleys and mountains and hills and all sorts of other cool stuff. So yeah, Montana is definitely worth checking out. I'd like to check out more of it, probably actually. Um, Idaho is Idaho. It's 90 degrees and they're watering every single field on next to the highway, so the humidity made it feel much worse than it was. Apparently, there is a potato museum. I did not stop. Unlike the airplane museum, I didn't really care. I guess I'm evil. Anyway, had to do some reorganizing in the room here because all of my layers had to get stuffed back into the left saddlebag that had been starting to be used for everything else. So there was a lot of reorganizing going on last night for these last couple of days. Anyway, just about ready to drop the last bit of stuff on the bike and hit the road. Today's going to be a bit of a long day, a lot of freeway, unfortunately, but that's the way it goes sometimes. And by the end of the day, we'll be back in Arizona. Woohoo! Last day heading home. Yesterday ran everything. Started out great, beautiful weather, nobody on the road. Had my light jacket on, perfect weather, it was fantastic, even if it was freeway. And then I got near Salt Lake City. God, that was a nightmare. 7 lanes for miles, and it was just, it started like 3 suburbs out from Salt Lake City and went like another 3 or 4 suburbs past Salt Lake City, and it was just, I was there at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I finally just was like, okay, I gotta stop. So I pulled off and found a coffee shop and had some tea and sat there for about a half hour, and traffic actually did thin out. It was made it a little bit nicer, but just I-15 was just non-stop droning straight through farmland, which was just yeah. Note to self, if I ever schedule that much straight up freeway riding on a motorcycle ride like that ever again, smack myself in the head. Once I got off 15 and out towards Bryce Canyon and all that area, oh my God, it was so amazingly spectacular. And just, the emotions of coming back into Arizona, I was not expecting that. Like I said, so it was a bit of a roller coaster of a day. But I am all fueled up. I got to go and fuel up the bike, and I'll be home this evening. Road trip diary, final entry. So I've been home a couple months, and it was like, oh right, haven't done that yet. So just, you get home and you start going back to work, and life starts happening, and away you go. So to start off, the last day coming home, got up about a page, went and looked at the dam for a little bit. It was kind of interesting. It was dark 30, so nothing was open, but that was fine. Got to look at the cool stuff. Headed on back home. It's northern Arizona, areas that I've been to before. Got towards Flagstaff, and one of the things I wanted to do was swing in out through near Sunset Crater. It's kind of a cool area back there. They actually have an off-road sort of park where you go out, and it's all black cinders, so it's basically kind of like Black Beach. And I did a semester up in Flagstaff, and always kind of liked playing around in that area. And at the time I had a little Honda Civic, which does amazingly well off-road actually, but it was like, I have this off-road vehicle, let's go ahead and give it a go.
For the most part, it was pretty good. There were a couple of places where I was questioning my life's decisions. One long sandy hill was not fun. Kept my feet under me, kept going. Dual clutch for the win. It's really kind of awesome in sand, especially with a really heavy bike. More on that later. So got up that hill, went around another little corner, and the front end washed out. And the big disappointment there was there was nobody to video it, because I did a beautiful tuck and roll. I would have been in the Olympics. It was awesome. Took all the stuff off the bike, picked the bike up, put all the stuff back on, head on back down off the trail. And then the worst part, another uphill, where I discovered that it's a hard crust over a very, very soft sand. And going up this one long hill, the back wheel broke through the hard crust and proceeded to dig a very lovely trench until I couldn't go forward anymore because I was sitting on the frame. It was great. So, okay, take all the luggage off, see if that makes the bike light enough I can get it up out of the trench. No, that didn't work. Okay. Ended up pushing the bike backwards because I couldn't really pull it to the point where I could get it sort of out of the trench and kind of go off to the right to get up back up onto the crust. And then I went another 15, 20 yards up onto the crust where it was still nice and hard packed, and walked back down, got the bags, walked back up, put them all back on the bike. That was pretty horrible. Just because even without luggage, it's still a 600-pound bike. And oh, by the way, Flagstaff is close to 7,000 feet, which, so I was sucking big air moving a heavy bike. So that was, mistakes were made, and we'll leave it at that. Once I got into Flag, had a nice lunch in Flagstaff. Again, I know that area pretty well, so then it was almost autopilot on the way home from there. Stayed back roads, dropped into Phoenix, where, summer in Phoenix is just hell on earth. That's what it is. More back roads, drop into Tucson, and was really one of the cooler things of the day. I actually come in through the back alley, and I get to the gate, and there's this cool little photo montage thing that the wife had made of some of the pictures I'd been sending home. And it said, "Welcome home, weary traveler." So that was pretty cool. And get everything in, and woo, made the big trip. So that was kind of the last day. Looking back on the whole thing, there's a bit of a sort of realization / epiphany that I noticed. I actually noticed it the second to last day. When I coming home, leaving Skagway and going up through White Pass, which to a certified desert rat is just an alien landscape. I mean, summertime and there's still 3 or 4 inches of snow on the ground. It's hard to describe. You really do sort of have to experience it, at least for me. And it's this barren, stark, harsh environment, and yet it's still hauntingly beautiful. And then as I'm rolling out of southern Utah into Page and northern Arizona, it's an incredibly barren, very stark, yet amazingly beautiful landscape. And so it was just kind of an interesting juxtaposition and comparison of the diversity of this planet. And it's a little bit of this is all we've got. Why aren't we protecting it? It's pretty amazing. So, I mean, that's kind of the big epiphany there. As far as what worked on the trip, the bike worked awesome. Anything that was Honda, I did not have a problem with. The only couple of things were aftermarket stuff. The chain was an aftermarket, and I had gotten 30,000 miles on the original chain, and I only had about 5 on the aftermarket chain. So it's like, oh, it'll be fine. It was not fine. About 3 days in, I was scrambling for a motorcycle shop to find a new chain. The MC Cruise unit worked fantastically until it didn't. Coming down through Montana on the way home, it just stopped working. And I will say, in their defense, I sent the stuff back. Actually, the servo went bad. They warrantied it without a problem. They sent me back. I've already got the parts back on the bike. It's already working again. So they stand by their stuff. So, I mean, it was inconvenient, but I'm not mad with them. Those were the only 2 real problems. Other things, I've got VMX tubeless wheels. They worked great. They didn't have a single problem. I'm really impressed with the Dunlop Trail Max Mission tires. They are exactly what Dunlop says they are. A little over 6,000 miles, and they were fine. In fact, we're a few months home, and I'm still running the same tires. So they are definitely high mileage tires, like they say. They do give up a little bit of off-road chops, but for this type of trip, they were pretty much the perfect tire. The one kind of fun thing is, when I was doing all the prep, it's like, okay, I'm going to be camping, and okay, I want to make sure I have really good flashlights, because bears, or I don't know what I was thinking, but I got to get good flashlights. And you get that far north that time of year, and the sun doesn't set until like 11:30, and sunrise is, I don't know, 3:30. I don't know. I was still asleep. So the fancy flashlights I bought, I did not use. So that was just kind of a bit of a comical thing there. Overall, it was just an amazing trip. It was an amazing thing to do. If you have the wherewithal to do it, I highly recommend doing something like this. It's so easy to say that and so hard to do, but if you can figure out a way to swing it, definitely try. What would I change? I would like to have taken more time. Because of the realities of work and how much time off I had, I was doing 400 or 500 miles a day. And there were a couple of days where the last 100 miles or so, it was kind of, I just got to get where my final place is. And I almost kind of stopped looking at the beauty that was around me. So there was a little bit of a loss there. I would have been nice if I'd have had the flexibility to, the day in Canada where I found the Bomber Museum. It would have been nice to have had the flexibility to just say, screw it, find a hotel and spend the night and go to the museum in the morning and just add another day. But I didn't have that flexibility. That would really be the big changes, is just have more time. But other than that, it was a fantastic trip. Just got to figure out where to go next.